Oh, man.
How is that? Is that bad? Oh, it says live stream. That is so weird.
Weird.
Am I echoing now?
No, you're not. All right. Well, hi. Welcome to the Moms with Moms podcast. We are a podcast of moms chasing goals through all seasons of life. I am Shanna,
I'm Olivia.
and we are bringing you training tips, mom and expert interviews, and the kind of best friend banter that makes you feel like you're on a run with us. Whether it's your 5K or your next marathon or a stroller tempo, we've got your miles and your sanity. Olivia's mocking me over there. We are actually not too new of a platform at this point, which is really impressive. You guys, we have climbed our way back through. We've had to rebuild this platform from scratch again, and it's been a little bit of a process, but we're very proud of how far we've taken it. So we're
Mhm.
not going to call ourselves a new platform anymore because
Yeah.
we're experienced now.
Mhm. It's also thanks to you guys for sharing,
Yes.
subscribing, reviewing, all of the things, so
We're happy to be back. We took a little bit of a break because we had those 2 weeks off with our kids, and anybody that has kids during Christmas break, you guys know what we're talking about. It's like the moment they go back to school, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I could breathe again."
Yeah. Yeah. I can't believe that was only 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I feel like that was forever. I mean, in a good way, it was so fun in so many ways, but when I was just talking yesterday, I was, like, doing this run, and I was like, "How was that marathon that we ran only 3.5 weeks ago?" Like, isn't
Wait,
that weird?
it feels like
Yeah.
a month ago. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. It really does.
Wow.
I know.
Uh,
That's wild. Well, I have a mother runner shout out. Uh, okay, I'm gonna hold on. Let me get prepared here to read it so that I don't botch this. So this is from Runs for Frenchie. I'm Kate, a 37-year-old mama of two. I started training for races back in 2010 after graduating college and spent my 20s running half marathons, and a full Ironman. In 2018, I was diagnosed with celiac disease, which explained a lot. Carb loads, yeah, I was basically poisoning myself before every race back then. 2018 to 2023 were a tough 4 years. Multiple injuries, and then when I was 2 months postpartum, my dad passed away, and then 2 months later, COVID hit. Postpartum depression and grief were brutal. But after having my daughter in 2023, it was a light switch back on. I started training again and loving it. I'm running the Dopey Challenge next week at Disney and then on to a BQ attempt mid-February. I just hope I can inspire other mamas in the trenches that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Wow, that's amazing.
that is amazing. Isn't the Dopey Challenge like a 5K, 10K, half marathon
Yeah.
marathon?
Yeah, I think so, which is
That is crazy.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
it's, like, all
Oh
within
my
the
gosh.
same weekend, right?
Yeah, it is. That's
That is
wild.
insane.
I know, that is really cool. Oh my gosh. Kate, good for you. That's amazing.
Yeah, seriously, every time I hear somebody does that challenge, I'm like, "How are your legs not broken?"
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that after a marathon, I can't imagine stacking anything else before or after it. That's so
Yes.
crazy.
So wild. That is crazy. It's so wild, hearing sometimes people's stories about how many things happen all at once, and so it's like COVID, postpartum depression, grief, all these things, they happen at once, and that I feel like I feel like so many people talk about running being so therapeutic and stuff, but also sometimes you just need to take the time and actually slow down and not put pressure on yourself to like sign up for races and all of that stuff. So it was probably such a challenge within that time of COVID because nothing was happening at the time.
I mean, is that where that's when you kind of, like, dived more into running, right? Was it the COVID
Yeah.
era? Were you one of the COVID runners? Is that how you
So
started your marathon? I can't remember.
so
Or was
I
it
had
before
already
that?
run 2
It was
marathons
before that,
before
yeah,
that, yeah, and then I had Grayson, and I wanted
that's
to,
right.
like, run a half marathon, and then running was just so hard after I had him,
Yeah,
and it was nice because I was able to continue to run, and a lot of people started running, so I had people in my neighborhood that I was able to run with, and
that's
because
so
everything
fun.
was shut down, so workouts, everybody's doing driveway workouts and all of that stuff, but, and, like, it was nice because it was a little bit of a motivation to continue trying to run, but when our race, it was Snow Canyon half. When it got canceled, I was so relieved because I was like, "I can't run 15 miles. I just can't do it." So, but we all got the race T-shirt, which is hilarious. I did go out and do the race virtually, but the race
Wait,
so funny because it's like a it was a long sleeve, and then it had a fleece thing that went over your ears so that it was also a mask.
that is so I forgot about that. I forgot that that's not what that shirt's
Mhm.
from. Don't you still
Yeah.
have it?
Yeah, I still have it. I like, that's one of those things where it was like, you pick it up and you're like, "What the is this?" Like, there's no way, and it's also just kind of funny because Utah wasn't very shut down at any
Especially
point, like
St. George.
yeah, especially St. George.
Yeah.
So the fact that they went along and made a mask shirt combo is so funny.
They're like,
It's
"This
just
is our way of complying. Why we live on the rest of our day."
exactly. Exactly.
I do
So
remember coming down here. That's what made us fall in love with St. George. We
oh my
came
gosh.
down here and it was like St. George was like its own little island during this time. Like there was people playing at parks. Nobody was
Yeah.
batting an eye. Nobody was judging you when you were playing at the park.
Yes.
And I remember just getting here and we just had barely had our twins. So we were kind of like trying to be safe too because they were so
Mhm.
little. And I remember looking around, I was like, what is this world?
I know, it's so true. It was so different because, like, my brother was up in Seattle, and his life
Right.
actually changed, like, they had, like,
Yeah.
life-changing conditions up there, you know, and then my mom, like, her flights were canceled, she wanted to come and help me postpartum, and all of her
Oh,
flights were canceled, but then when it opened back up and Utah was one of the places she could fly because the
that's
flights were being
crazy.
canceled, it was so crazy, and, you know, like, I was you know, everything was so polarizing at the time, and we were just like, "This is so weird," like, people are getting in fights about things and all this stuff because our life was pretty normal, I would say, you know,
Yeah,
and St. George just kind of stayed normal, but it was so much smaller at the time too.
it
Like, now
is.
it's much
Yeah,
bigger, so
it is. I mean, and even for like a city itself, it's still pretty small. Like if you think about it,
yeah,
density wise. So yeah, it is. It's just like its own little island. But yeah, I
yeah.
remember just coming down here. We're like, this place is amazing. There's like no, everybody's just
Yeah.
living life.
Everyone's just like, "La-di-da!" Like,
Yeah.
everyone already works from home here. There's nowhere to work. So, people just work from home anyways, and so
Yes,
that's
yeah.
people
Or they commute or whatever, you know? Yeah, it's so
Yes.
true. Like, life didn't really change for people here. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
Yep.
Oh,
So, good reminiscing on 2020. Like, that was 6 years ago. Our
that's
our
crazy.
babies that were born that year are gonna be 6 this year.
Yeah. You know what I just realized?
What?
Last night I realized I have been graduated from high school
Oh my god.
for almost 15 years. 'Cause I graduated in
Oh
2011. It's
oh, yeah.
2026, and I graduated in June.
Oh my god, we're just a few years away from being able to go to a 20-year reunion.
Dude, we are old.
Oh, I was even like, how did like, my mom had mentioned something, she was like, "Did you ever get anything about a 10-year reunion?" I was like, "I haven't been out of school for 10 years."
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was laying in
No.
bed, like, 2 nights ago, and I looked over at my husband, I was like, "I'm old."
Oh my gosh.
I
Wait,
now can say that.
when I was doing the math on when I got my last speeding ticket, last night we were in a group text and I was offering to drive someone around and I was like, haven't gotten a speeding ticket since 2013. And I was like, how many years ago was that? And I was like, that is crazy. That was 13 years ago because
That's
I can
impressive.
remember it clear as day. Well, when you drive like a grandma, you know.
I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you.
Yeah.
We got a safe driver over here.
Yeah, well, 90% of our voice notes are like, "Why is this person going
It's
fast?
so
Why is
true.
this person are you slowing down? Oh my god, would it kill you to use a blinker?"
It's so true. Always road rage on those voice notes.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that it's been so long. Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, when did this happen?
I don't know. I still am trying to remind myself that I'm 33. Like, when I say that, it doesn't feel very old, and then I'm like, "Wait, but that's really old." That's
Like,
really old when you can say you've been graduated for that many years.
it's funny because in the actual scheme of life, it's not very
It's not.
old. It's
Yeah.
not, but when I was 26 and I had a friend turning 33, I was like, "You're much older than me."
You're, like,
And
way
that's what the
old.
concept is to me whenever I'm, like, around I have one friend that she's probably 26 or 27,
Yeah.
and I'm always like, "Oh my gosh, you infant, you baby, like, you're so new to life. How are your 20s going still?" You know?
Yeah.
And it's just so weird. Yeah. Well, you are also my old friend, so
Yeah. We're, like, a whole whopping couple months apart, but it's okay. Olivia
Oh,
says that she's 21. Just kidding. She sometimes
yeah.
looks like it too.
Oh my gosh, I wish. Me in the up close mirror being like, "How did
I know.
Botox cost?"
These things right here, I'm like, "Oh, those are the
I know.
30s."
No, I just keep reminding myself, I'm like, "It just means you smile a lot. It just means you smile a lot. You're just a very happy person."
Very happy person.
I'm just so happy. I can always see them in my reels, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna look like the old lady giving advice out here."
The old lady giving advice
I'm gonna be
out
like,
here.
"Oh my god, that nice little granny is talking about 130 heart rate."
The nice little granny.
Oh my gosh. Or they're gonna be like, "Wow, she needs sunscreen. That girl has sun damage."
You don't. You're so funny.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
man. Well, we we kinda wanted to talk like, I guess this topic doesn't really have, like, a direct, like, one spin to it, but we kinda just wanted to talk about, like, self-reflection. We're going into 2026. There's a lot of, like, nuance out there. There's also there's a lot of things that are pushed your way, like, "You should be doing this or focusing on this, or this is how your training should look." And I won't lie, like, I sometimes find myself in situations, I'll call myself out where I'm like, "Why is that person doing that?" Or like, "Why are they like a cardio fanatic?" Like, and now that I'm in a state of pregnancy, I've realized just how much my training has shifted and like my focus has shifted and like trying to find strategic ways of still trying to maintain as much fitness as possible with big goals on the horizon after pregnancy, that I'm realizing like your training can look so different than you're even used to, and that it's okay to lean into that. But Olivia and I have also been talking a lot about like self-reflection, like finding holes in our training. Where can we improve? Where can we make the most with our potential, like currently? And like, how can we progress our own personal talents to another level, doing what feels like is right for us, right? And I think self-reflection just allows us to really like dive into like the things that we're lacking, maybe, or maybe not even so much lacking, but like could improve just even a little bit. Because I'm a big believer, like, there's not, like, go big, go home. Like, I feel like you have to have a maintainable, realistic approach to it, especially since our audience is mother runners. Like, diving all the way in and, like, saying, "I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna sleep 8 to 9 hours a night," and maybe you get that nailed down, but you're gonna also fall short somewhere else, and that's very, very normal and common and refreshing. So, I don't want it to make it sound like this topic is gonna be like, "Oh, this is what we're doing and this is what we're changing," and it's more just, like, self-evaluating and seeing, "Okay, where are the small things that we can change right now, that we can make it a habit and then build upon that habit with
Mhm,
time," right? So yeah, that's kind of like an intro to the topic.
mhm. Yeah, and I think also with, like, where we're at right now is so different than even a year ago, and, I mean, I'm looking at how yesterday and today I'm able to go outside for a run. And while both of my children are at school, Charlotte has her 2.5 hours of preschool, and it's just this perfect little window. And that's the season that I'm in now. But that previously it has been nonstop of one-on-one time with my kids, and that it hasn't always looked like this. And that just because someone else is doing something that suits them in that season doesn't mean that you're going to be able to do it. And you're right now there's so much nuance out there about, doing adding plyometrics into your training and
The stair
doing
stepper.
yeah, the stair stepper, and you have to do this, and, now swimming is gonna be your best cross training, and you're like, "How am
Yes.
I add in swimming?" Like, I am a mom. Like, for me, swimming has never been a realistic cross training thing because if my kids are in the gym childcare, there's a good chance they're gonna call me because of Charlotte. That's just always how it is. Always, she's gonna
You don't
do
wanna
some
trek over there in your swimsuit all wet?
oh, I mean
Does this sound fun?
yeah. I can think of anything. I'll quit running before I trek to the rec center in a swimsuit sopping wet. But, it's just there's so much out there, you're going to always be inundated with stuff, and at the end of the day, if you're not looking at what you in your life and what fits your life are doing, it's not going to work for you. Someone else's schedule just isn't going to work, and so, yeah, I mean, you're probably feeling that right now. I know that so we've talked about this a little bit, but you've added in now cross training into your routine. And where did that come from? And are you getting feedback about it that you want to answer some questions about it?
Yeah, I mean, I have had some questions just like, "Oh, like, I would never take you to be one to add cross training in on top of running." And it's hard because I get the perspective of seeing it from other people's angle outside of pregnancy. Like, when I see people that are running higher mileage and they're out there cross training, like, 2 to 3 times a week, and then on top of that, they're strength training, like, 4 times a week, I'm like, holy crap, just rest. Like, when do you rest? Like,
Mhm,
how? Why? Why are you a cardio fanatic? Like, your body needs to adapt by resting and recovering. And so I get the perspective of like, wow, this looks like a lot, especially as a pregnant person, even running 40 miles a week. That's a lot for a lot of runners. Like,
mhm,
if you really think about the grand scheme, a lot of people don't really need more than 40 miles. And you and I have talked about that. A lot of goals, even in marathon training, can be covered under 40 miles.
mhm,
And so I think it's like very important to acknowledge and recognize like where we started in our journey and like where we're heading. Like when you have a certain goal, whether it's to run your first marathon or BQ or OTQ, like all of those goals and how to get there is going to look different for every person. And it just depends where you're at in your journey of life. Like when I started back in 2022, I was running 4 days a week and my mileage was like 25 to 30, and then it slowly progressed to 5 days a week, and then when I went into Archer's coaching, it was 6 days a week, and I was only still running, like, 45 to 50, and I say only because I grew up running my whole life. Now, if I didn't, 45 to 50 miles, that's a lot of miles, you guys, like, there is nothing to, like, downplay about that, and so I think it's very important to recognize that, but then, being under this coach for 3 years, and I'm 3.5 years working through postpartum. Like, I didn't get pregnant until 3.5 years postpartum. I had multiple seasons where I built miles from 45 to 55 miles to 55 miles to 65 miles to 65 miles to 75 miles. And then I tried a little bit of the 80s for a minute to see what that felt like. So it's like there was a gradual build over these 3 years that a lot of people, if you're not following that religiously, it can look like, oh, wow, why is a pregnant person running 40 plus miles and still biking on top of that? But when you come from like an 80-mile week and in a marathon build and then you're jumping down to 40, that's like that's literally half the amount of time on feet that your body's like, what is going on? Like, this is not satisfying enough. My body's used to more. And it's because you've slowly adapted it to become more resistant or like more resistant to fatigue easier. And so I share that backstory because I know, Olivia, you're gonna talk about your backstory of where you started, what your mileage looked like, what your training regimen looked like, and, like, what it looks like now, which is a big drastic difference. Like, you're in 2 different ballparks at this point of, like, where you started versus where you are in your training.
mhm.
And so I just think it's important to, like, that's why comparison can never be a real thing. Like, because like you said, on top of that, like we now have shifting schedules. Like I have 6 kids at least 3 times a week that are in school. Like my youngest, she goes to preschool 3 times a week, and so during those hours, like you, like I usually will try to sneak in a workout during that time or get something done during that time, and back then that was never an option, right?
Right.
And so mileage can look different, training can look different, recovery can look different. Like I've been sleeping in the morning because I don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning on Tuesday through Thursday because I
Mhm.
have a girl that goes to preschool, so I can run during those hours. That's like 7.5 hours I normally don't sleep. Like, it's game changer. It really is. Like, that extra 2 hours, like, in the morning can make all the difference, but there was a point where I didn't have that, and
Mhm.
so my mileage probably did need to be lower because I was lacking opportunity of, like, adaptation to recover. So, anyways, I'm curious to hear your take on this because I know your season has shifted so much too, but also your
Mhm.
training has shifted so much from being like a new runner into where you're at now
Mhm.
and like where you're heading. Like you have big goals of where you're heading. And you've been very vocal about that.
Yeah. I think also for you, like if somebody is in a season where they're maybe comparing themselves to you, the the realistic part of your training right now also is that you are maintaining.
Mm.
When you're putting out paces and they're still so impressive, they simply are. Like it's undeniably super impressive. They're also slower than what you are normally doing and they're also in different heart rate zones. Like you have
Yeah.
this parameter that you normally work in and you're having to adjust that constantly and I think that maybe the idea of maintenance that like that this is currently maintenance for you like the bike is great cross training and there's amazing things that you can gain from it but ultimately at your level and where you're at right now you're probably not going to gain fitness you're
Yeah.
not doing it so that you can burn calories. It's, like,
Yes.
a lot of people use the bike to do that when they're that's a like, if you're in a weight loss stage, that's what people are doing. They're just trying to get into, like, their zone 2, their fat burning zone, where for us, a zone 2 is just to have our bodies learn how to use our energy stores properly for
Yes.
longer term. So, for you, it's maintaining up until you have the baby and then that postpartum that when you resume it's just not going to be as much of a jump scare back into mileage because you
Yeah.
just it's always the unknown. Postpartum is a little bit of an unknown so that you have maintained it as long as possible and I think that maybe people it would be hard to see that sometimes well I'm not doing that but at
Mhm.
the same time like if someone is wanting to have a baby and they're waiting because they maybe want to run Boston or something like that like I think you're really giving people the opportunity and permission to also train at a high level that it is possible if you're feeling good enough and up to it. If it's something that makes you excited and you feel passionate about running with your baby, pregnant. But yeah, that brings me, I guess, into where I'm at right now. It's so crazy because it's weird not having a marathon on the horizon like right now.
I
And
know.
I've
It's
always,
weird for me to not have you have a marathon on
I
the horizon.
know. I know. It's just because 'cause we've always, like that's how we chat about things is like, "Well, when I run this marathon and when I run
Yeah.
that marathon," and so just to not have and I really don't have any races. Every race I've looked at so far has been, like, when my husband's working, so it's, like, a little
Yeah.
bit like, "Oh, well, I was gonna sign up for that, and, well, I was going to sign up for that," but um, so yeah, for me, I am I've been in just marathon block, marathon block, marathon block, literally since I had Charlotte in 2022. I've just always been in some kind of marathon block. And so I ran Chicago and I PR'd and it was awesome. It wasn't the goal I was going for, so I've just always had that on my mind. Like it's crazy because it's crazy to have that much fun and still wonder what happened a little bit too. It makes you start to question like what happened, and so I've really had to take a look at, what happened during that race, and there's a lot of little things, right? Like, "Oh, that was the day I started my period," but it for me, running on my period isn't foreign to me, and it's usually
Yeah.
not a huge hindrance. It just, like, some days it is, but overall, I feel like running honestly, it helps usually with my cramps or anything like that for the most part. I mean, it's like some months can be different, of course, but Um, there's just I've had to really take a step back and look at the overall picture of like if I have these big goals, like yes, I can continue probably to chip away, right? Like I could probably go and do that 252, 250 at a spring marathon, but the marathon has become such a normalized thing now. It's like running those 26.2 miles. Like when I did it at Phoenix, it felt so normal to just go and run 26.2, and
Yeah.
it was just like that mile 18 scary wasn't there. It was like, "Oh, I'm a mile 18," and granted, I had pulled back, but I'm just talking about the distance itself, and our coach was like, "You should try to miss the marathon," and I was like, "That's it's
You're
true."
like,
Like,
"But I do the moment it's over." I'm like, "I missed it."
literally when I'm not running, when I'm missing the
Exactly.
moment.
I'm missing it while I'm running it.
I'm like, "It's gonna be over so soon. Dang it." And, it's like, I think that maybe running another marathon isn't the answer to getting faster at the marathon right now. I think there's so many little bits and pieces that I can work on, and that obviously is like a speed block right now, and I need to get faster at the half marathon. I talk a lot about those distances that I don't enjoy them as much, but like what is going to make me enjoy them is getting better at them. It will feel more fun if I'm not constantly leaving disappointed or like, wow, that was so much harder than I thought it was going to be. And like learning new bits and pieces of my athleticism to keep it interesting. And because otherwise, like, what if I was doing a June marathon and I traveled and I did all this stuff and I still only walked away with the same time or something happened once again? And it's like you have to run into hurdles to be
Mhm,
able to see the bigger picture. And I think for me, I'm having to take a look at the strength portion, the
mhm.
nutrition portion, like w what is the thing that sets me apart from the me that I was when I was running a 3:39? Well, like, what have I changed since then? And it's not necessarily more mileage. Honestly probably could look back at I was probably oftentimes running
Yeah,
50 to 60 miles per week.
yeah.
And I've never looked at how many miles per week I'm running on average. Like when people ask that, I'm like, I actually have no idea. I could probably go look, but it's usually probably wrong also because a lot of times my treadmill uploads something and then my watch
Yeah,
uploads it too. So sometimes I think it looks way higher than it actually is on Strava. It's probably not super accurate on there because I don't really worry about that. I very much worry
yeah.
about like the individual workout. My Tuesday workout and then my Saturday workouts are the ones that I'm like, okay, how does this stack towards my end goal of like race day? So when I look back at 2023 me, what was I doing? And 2023 me didn't pay attention to nutrition. I
Yeah,
wasn't really doing a ton of strategic strength workouts. I was doing a lot of them, but they weren't super strategic towards running. And I was spending more time like doing things like yoga. So I was feeling a lot more mobile back then and
yeah.
things like that. So there are things that like, I wasn't doing everything wrong back then, it's just
Mhm.
what fell through the cracks now and what is falling through the cracks now. So, for me, taking a look and talking with a nutritionist,
Yeah.
but there are times like that that you have to evaluate what is also setting me apart from people who are running 240s. And it
Mhm.
probably is strategic strength and nutrition. And so taking a look at those bigger picture things and getting ahead of it right now is so important, especially while I'm not in a marathon block, so that I can build the habit. And so doing things like doing my little bit of strength and just building that habit and so that it becomes normal. And even if it's not a lot or it's not ideal, it's so important because it's for me the easiest thing to be like, I'm so tired. I have spent all day with them. They're going to bed. I'm going to bed. Like that
Yeah,
is a constant. And so,
so real.
yeah.
It's
So
hard.
it is. It is just hard, and I co-sleep, so when my husband's gone,
Mhm.
they're in my bed, and so they're cozy, they wanna go to sleep when I'm going to sleep, and so a lot of times I lay there, pretend to go to sleep, and then I'll get up and I'll
Yeah,
go I do that all the time,
or
and
you
so
fall asleep with them.
yeah.
I've done that many times.
I know.
I'm just gonna close my eyes for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
pretend I'm sleeping, and then I'm asleep.
That's exactly. I cannot tell you how many times I've done that, and I'm like, "Shoot, I don't wanna do a strength workout at 10:30 at night because that's
No.
when I finally woke up." You know, it's so interesting just trying to find these, like, little slivers of time to build these habits, and when I look at 2023 Olivia, like, she was with her kids all the time, but she also had kids that napped. Sometimes twice a day.
Good point.
So,
Yeah.
that was hugely different. I was really into sleep training, and mine were on a very rigid nap
Yeah.
schedule, and it's because there's only 2 of them. So, again, like, if someone has 3 kids and their 3rd one is not on a sleep schedule, like, I can't speak for that, but I get it. Like, I imagine, like, having 2 kids on this schedule and adding a 3rd one into it, like, it would be such an adjustment. So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I guess just building the habits right now and really taking a look at the big picture is so important as far as not jumping in and signing up for another marathon because I do want to get faster at the marathon. So not running one is going to be the key to that. I know that. It's just really hard to be realistic about that.
It's true though, like, I think it takes a lot of maturity to, like, walk away from something you love to do, to take
Mhm.
time to build properly and appropriately so that you can shoot a big shot, you know?
Yeah.
Not just go in and again, there's you guys, there's nothing to bat an eye about PRing by even 1 second, like, a PR is a PR, like, progress is progress. Even if you went into a race and didn't PR and you learned a ton, there is a lot of value to that, right? Like we've talked
Yeah.
about that in past conversations here on this podcast. But with where you're trying to head, where you're trying to aim for that OTQ or get closer to that window, you do kind of have to evaluate those things. And I think that I think you brought up a really good point. Like when you were talking about your 2023, you mentioned that your mileage wasn't much different, so to speak. You may be a little bit higher now, which it makes sense with the goal that you're trying to achieve. Like that 70 range is very,
Mhm.
very normal for a goal like that. But I love that you talked about, like, the things that you did do, like, you did still strength train, even though it wasn't, like, a certain way or it wasn't, like, runner performance specific, like, you still had the concept of, like, "I need to strength train," and I think it's important to recognize that, like, anyone who's listening, starting somewhere is better than not starting at all. And I look back on so many times where, like, I strength trained. I used to follow this program, Beachbody on Demand. I've talked about it so
Mhm.
many times, and it's not runner performance strength training. It's like I think I lifted the most 20-pound weights, like, but I had to start there because before that, I was only lifting 10. Like, you can't just jump in and lift 40-pound weights. You can't just go in and curl or bench press 40-pound, 50-pound weights. You can't go in there and take a bar and put your weight times 2 on it and do it, like, and do a deadlift. Like, you're gonna hurt yourself if you do that. So you have to start with the basics and the fundamentals, build the habit, and then stack on it. And I love that that's what you've been doing this whole time. Like, you have slowly, like, your mind has slowly just continued to build upon the, like, concepts you've already had established years
Mhm.
ago. And I think that's really cool. And I think with like your nutrition, you're taking it in bite-sized pieces. Like you're really trying to like figure out, okay, this is where somewhere I could improve to help get more performance out of my body and more recovery out of my body. And so what can I do in little ways to add to it versus like I need to do a full 75-day hard and get on this right now because I think that's the hard part with the New Year's goals is like people it's very overwhelming as a mom to have somebody tell you like here's where you're lacking. Here's the 5 things you're lacking. You're like, "Where am I gonna fit that into this busy
Mhm.
life?" Like this chaotic, overstimulated mom here who is struggling just to hang on to the basics that I'm doing already. How am I supposed to improve on top of that? Like that is
Mhm.
just it feels so overwhelming and like almost crippling to the point where you don't even wanna try. And
Yes.
so I think it's just very important for moms to recognize, like, you are doing a lot right, and so how can you just take 1 or 2 things in the things you're already doing and just improve it just by a little bit? Just a
Mhm.
little bit. Like, it could be 5 like, maybe you lacked on strength training for the last 4 weeks. Okay, so I'm just gonna put strength training in my schedule for 10 minutes once a week. I'm gonna start just once a week, 10 minutes. that's so easy. That's, like, almost like a couple commercials, right? Like,
It's so true.
I
Yeah.
mean, we have commercials nowadays, but
I mean, it's
no.
so true. But also with that, like, when you're doing it in those bite-sized pieces, your kids are going to adjust to you doing it, because for me, that's why I talk about building the habit and doing it when my kids are, like, still awake and watching a movie or something, because, like, I take my weights into the bedroom here, and then I put them up here to watch a movie, and they ask me questions nonstop. "Why are you doing that? Is that a squat? Why are you lifting that?" And it's like, they did the same thing though when I was always on the treadmill. Like, for example, they're not used to me being on the bike, so they'll constantly come in.
Crazy.
And so if you're working out and your children are present for it, then those little bite-sized pieces, it really, really will help, even if it's 5-10 minutes here, then 5-10 minutes there, just for them to even get used to you doing something new so that
I
it's
love that.
not an inconvenience for them. I mean, it obviously depends on your parenting style, no?
Yes.
And so when you talk about the 10 minutes, that's how I have to do it. But also, I'm building back from a marathon. So, like, if you're in a phase where you haven't done anything like this for a long time, 10 minutes really will
It's
be,
plenty.
yeah, it will be enough.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're gonna be so sore the next day, you won't be able to know how I was just talking to Olivia about this last week, or I was like,
Yeah.
"I am so sore, and it's already day 3." And it's just because I fell out of the
Yeah.
routine for the last 3 weeks of strength training, and so reintroducing it back in and then trying to go to your normal weights, it's not a smart thing to
Yeah.
do. You're
No.
just gonna be more sore than you need to be. But it's true. It definitely, like, helps allow the family to adjust and accommodate that schedule too, and I think
Mhm.
that's important because a lot of us moms, like, we are working around our family. Like,
Yes.
our training like, schedule and everything that goes around those goals are based around our family schedule. It's not
Yeah.
like most of us don't just have all this, like, abundance of time to go and do whatever we
Yeah.
wanna do, and I think that's why being strategic with how you do it and knowing you guys, like, work with the equipment that you do have. I don't have a squat rack yet. Like, I would love to have a squat rack. I would love to be able to lift even heavier than I can, but right now, all I have in my garage, in my two-car
Yeah.
garage, is just dumbbells. Like, it's just dumbbells, and it works. Like, you have the adjustable ones that can go up to 50, pounds, like, per dumbbell, and it's like, that is enough to still benefit. Eventually, will I have to probably go heavier to get really what I want, like out of hamstrings and things? Probably. But right now, it's all that I have. And so you just work with what you have. So I also think it's very important to not feel intimidated if you don't have access to all these like expensive equipment and stuff. Like, work with what you do have. Like, I had the most ghetto treadmill that I used to talk to Olivia about that I had to slide a board under. And I look back and I was like, how did I do 20-mile runs on that thing? Like, at one go, there was no fancy screen, there was nothing to watch. Like, I had my phone right here and I was watching Netflix on my phone. And it was just like, it's so crazy to think where I started with the treadmill and like what I have now, what a luxury I have of a treadmill now. And I'm like, I didn't always have that. But yeah, I made it work. That
Mhm.
400 piece of shit. It worked for so many years, like, almost 5 years, it worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think it's just important to, like, it's okay to invest in yourself, but also not feel overwhelmed if you don't have all these equipment and tools. Say a watch. Say if you don't have a watch either, like, okay, go off time. Like, a lot of our runs, our coach that he schedules, a majority of them are time-based. They're not
Mhm.
mileage-based. And so a lot of times I have no idea, like, 60 minutes, sometimes that brings me, like, 5 miles. Like, right now, currently in my pregnancy, if I really only run the 60 minutes, it's probably 5 miles. Like, and for
Yeah.
somebody else, that may be 4, somebody else, that might be 8, you know? You just work with what you have and know that it's enough, and, like, you don't need to invest all this stuff into it, you just need to improve it in little ways of what's already happening. Improve your system that you already have going
Mhm.
in a little bit more efficiency of where maybe you may have a hole. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's exactly it, because I think that general purpose of this conversation is, like, for us, that we're having to take a look at what our 2026 is actually going to look like and being realistic about it. Because I still find myself doing it where it's like, "Is this even realistic for me to get to?" And now it's not gonna come from weekly mileage. Like, to get to these
Yeah.
crazy, crazy goals, it's not going to come from this weekly mileage that we're doing. It will come from taking a step back and looking at all the fundamentals of, like, what have I done that's already worked? And then also, what am I going to do, and what are people doing that they're already where I wanna be? And what are they doing that I can implement into my schedule? Because there are so many things that just won't work. I can't go straight from a run to doing strength workout. It
Yeah.
has to be a juggling act. Like, that's just how
You have
moms.
limited time.
Yes.
Like, as a parent, like, you're dropping and picking up kids from to and from places, like, your windows are small and in your running
Yes.
even in your running schedule, let alone all the other things that have to go around it, right? Like
Yeah. And so for me right now, it's crazy to be in a season where I do get to run outside for a little bit
yeah.
of, and I have a 3.5-year-old, like,
Do you
that's crazy.
do you ever have guilt over that? Like, do you ever find
Yeah.
yourself, like, feeling like you have to trap yourself into the old season of yourself because you're, like, almost feel
Yeah.
guilty for living this life
Yes.
that you have now? Like, I feel like I struggle with that when I run during, like,
Yeah.
normal morning day hours. It's
Yeah.
9:30, my kids are at school, my one is at preschool for another 2.5 hours, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm doing a workout right now while other people are at work, and that
So
used to be me. Like, I used to be like, "What do they do for work? How are they running at
yes.
9:30?" But
Yeah.
it's shifting seasons isn't a bad thing, and we shouldn't feel guilt over that. Like, we're all eventually our kids are gonna be teenagers. Eventually, our kids
Yeah.
are gonna be more self-sufficient. Eventually, maybe our schedule's gonna fill up even harder because they are
Yes.
in deeper immersed in competitive sports. Like, so why
Yeah.
not embrace the season you're in or the little bit of flexibility or time you have right now without feeling guilt over that?
Yeah.
Like
It's funny because I feel like I should be doing the dishes, or, well, the dishes are
Yeah,
done. I feel like I should be doing laundry, cleaning my kids' rooms, cleaning my floors, or, we are actively always trying to pursue some kind of entrepreneurial go, right? Like that, like,
yeah,
I think that's what maybe isn't seen all the time, because for me, anything that I'm doing that involves having to be on my computer, doing athlete plans, editing our podcast, things like that, it's happening way after 9 p.m. Like, that's
yeah,
stuff that is like, that's happening way later because that's not happening while my kids are awake. It won't get done. And
yeah,
also, it's not really fair to dive into their attention time with me when, like, trying to pursue something for myself. So, like, those little bits and pieces of guilt, they come a lot of times too from, like, should I be working on this stuff? I should be putting away all the laundry. And instead, it's like, we when Charlotte was a baby, I always knew that this time was going to come at some point, that
yeah,
she was gonna go to preschool, and I was gonna be able to run during those times. And it's okay to also just acknowledge that that's the season that I'm in. Like, for me, I'm done having babies, and
yeah,
so, like, taking the time to be like, "Okay, this is the next season. Like, I'm out of the toddler era. This is the next season." And for you, that, like, next I am already anticipating, like,
yeah,
"Baby was up all night. I won't make it tomorrow."
yeah,
And I'll be like, "Got it. No worries." And that's gonna be super realistic, that, like, you're gonna be in a totally different season in just a few months as well, and you're gonna
yeah.
be back in it, which is wild.
It is gonna be wild. I mean, that's why I take advantage of it so much right now. I'm like, I will be back there again, like,
Yeah,
sooner
yeah.
than I realize, and I forget that how time consuming a little newborn is. But yeah, I don't know. I was curious how you thought about that because I felt like I feel it myself often feel guilty. Like I felt like that yesterday when I
Mhm.
did, or
Yeah.
even Monday, like where my husband he had work early in the morning, but he normally has Mondays off, and he actually had the rest of his day off, and I was like, I'm gonna go run on the trail. I'll take the three
Yeah.
older kids. They'll go bike. I'll go run at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was the nicest thing ever. I was like, this is amazing. Like it feels like a Saturday.
Yeah,
And
it
I just, like, I hate, like, I hate that, like, us as moms, like, we have guilt over, like, living the season that we're in because we know that there's other people that aren't in it yet, and
Mhm.
we, like, empathize with them because we used to be there, but, like, at the same time, like, we're all going to be having shifting seasons, like, so are the people that are in the grind of
Yes.
it right now with little babies, like, they're eventually gonna be at the point where their kids are in preschool and they're like, "What is this?"
Yes.
Like
It's so true that it is just about shifting seasons and that it comes up so fast and that mom guilt, it's just going to be there. But I think a lot of it mom guilt is also just like home guilt. Like you feel like you should always be doing something, but it's also okay to enjoy life's little luxuries, which is if you have a 2-hour window, go use it. Like
yeah.
it's okay. And for us right now, like when I see people and I'm like, wow, how did they go on vacation? Like that is crazy. But then I think those are two working parents. That's
Yes.
why they were able to go on vacation. They planned it strategically. And that is their life's little luxury is being able to go on vacation. We're not in that season right now. So my
Yeah.
life's little luxury is that 2-hour run. But I also am home with my kids. And so it's not saying that one is better than the other. It's just accepting where you're at and being
Mhm.
like finding joy in those things. Like today I'm going to go drop Charlotte at preschool. I'm going to go for a run and
I'm
I'm
so
that's
excited for you. So
that right.
excited for you. Go enjoy
That
every
is
bit of
joy.
it. Yes.
Like it's just crazy to be in that and I am looking at a pile of laundry. I know that there's a
I know.
ton of Play-Doh out there right now that I should be cleaning up, but
Yes.
I'm not going to because, she'll probably play with it or it'll dry up and then I can throw it away.
Speaking of which,
And
she's actually been really quiet. I thought
I
I for sure would see her face pop on here.
I cannot believe it. I don't know. I have
What
a
it
feeling
looks like out there. Yeah.
there's nail polish involved
I
because I can
know.
smell it. So, but you know what? That's okay. I just bought new nail polish remover. So, yeah, it's just funny. I feel like we always do that where it's like, could I be doing more?
Yes.
And I think also as moms, that's like our natural reaction to everything. Like when the kids go to bed, it's like, could I have been more attentive? Could I have been more patient? And so we roll that right into running as well. Could I have run more miles? Could I have added in
I
strength? Could
love
I have
that.
done a class? And we are naturally just predispositioned to thinking that we could have done more and used our time more wisely when in the moment every day, we are actively doing our best. I know that. I just know it. And if someone's really tired and they don't want to do it, like it's probably because you're in just a season where maybe you have a difficult toddler. Maybe your baby doesn't
Yes,
sleep at night. Maybe you have teenagers and they still require a lot of driving around and that is exhausting, participating
absolutely.
in their sports and stuff. And so that those are just normal life circumstances and that if you are comparing yourself to someone also that does not have children and is telling you you need to add in mobility, plyometrics, stair stepping, that it does not apply to you. It just doesn't.
You mean you don't have 12 hours to stair step on top of your training?
Oh my
I
gosh,
you
well,
can find time.
I know, I saved that for 10:30 to 1:30, and I'm just waiting for
Yeah,
Peloton to come out
you're
with a
never
stair
gonna
step.
sleep. You're just why
Yeah.
sleep? You don't need to sleep.
No
We're
one
good.
needs Yeah, exactly. I'm just waiting for my stair stepper delivery so I can start doing that. Oh, she right on cue. Hi.
No, I'm so, so glad you talked about that, like, more is always what we naturally, think about as moms. Like, as moms, we always are constantly like, "Oh, where can I improve? Where can I add? Where can I stack it into, like, my little 24 hours?" We talk about that, right? Like, nobody like, I see a lot of reels that are going around, they're like, "Unless you have this many kids or a kid and your schedule looks like this, don't tell me how I should train." And I love that because it's so true. Like, even within the mom world, like, our schedules are all so different from each other, and
Mhm.
but the relatability is there because we understand how much time consumption having a family is. One kid is a lot. Like, I will
Mhm.
never stop saying that. One kid does adjust your life. Like, your life literally changes overnight. And I think it's important to recognize that and know that that's not an excuse. I often hear moms follow it up with, "Oh, I know it's like my excuse, but like my schedule looked like this week." And I'm like, but it's not. That's your
Yeah.
reality. Like, why do
Yeah.
we as moms downplay what we're carrying? Like, I love that you emphasize that because I feel like I do that a lot myself where I'm like, "Oh, last week I failed here and I should have done this, 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 and this around the house. And I'm like, but what did I have going on that required me to ignore the laundry that's now piled up into 4 baskets again? When I told myself 2 weeks ago I would
Yes.
not let it do that again. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wait, look at my schedule. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
and I love that you talked about that, like, your training isn't about putting more miles. It's about making the quality of the things that you're already doing just a little bit more efficient for what you need it to be. And I
Mhm.
think that there's so much value in saying that because what happens with runners when they miss a goal? They think about what they can add. What
Mhm.
more can they do? What more mileage can they do? All of a sudden they're going from 70 miles to 100 miles and they're thinking, "Oh, I need to do 100 miles and now I need to go stair step because this girl ran a 2:36 stair stepping 12 hours a week. So I need to do that too." Never mind the fact that she's 23 with no kids and she's running
Mhm.
half the mileage too, you know? And so I just think naturally it is as athletes and as moms, it is so ingrained in us to think more, 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 more when it's just fixing the quality of what we're already doing.
Mhm.
Your 40 miles may be plenty. I think 40 miles is plenty for a lot of goals,
Yep.
even in marathon training. And it's more like, okay, so you did your 40 miles, but what did you do outside of that? What
Mhm.
did your eating look like you talked about? What did your eating look like? Are you recovering well enough because you're getting enough nutrition after those workouts?
Mhm.
No? Okay, well, let's start there. Let's start there before we add on another 20 miles to your training
Exactly.
block, you know?
Yes.
Let's start with
Yep.
the strength training, 10 minutes, one time a week, because you didn't do any strength training the last session. So let's do one once a week and see what that does for you. Okay,
Mhm.
that did great. That added some improvement. You feel a little bit stronger in your form. Okay, now let's the next training block, another 6 months. Let's try 2 times. Like I think it becomes so overwhelming because we see somebody else doing all these things that we feel like we're not doing and we think that we need to change our entire life overnight. And it's like
Yes.
that's where injury happens, that's where burnout happens, that's where this, like, feeling of, like, it feels so daunting, it feels like so much that, like, we don't even wanna start because you're already intimidated before you even give yourself a chance, you know?
Yep. It's so true. I mean, it's the whole, like, starting at the gym in January and,
Mhm.
it's the scariest thing ever. Cause like, I am 32, about to be 33, and I still don't know how 90% of the machines work. If there's not
Most
pictures
people
of them,
don't.
yeah, I will get on it backwards. There's a good chance that I'll be, like,
Get on it backwards.
donkey kicking on
It's
a freaking bent press
hamstring,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, like, and so I'm just saying it's that whole thing, and so being overwhelmed by something that's new is super normal, and so, like, when I look at, like, I've had to do so much reflection on, like,
Yeah.
all the things that have worked and then all the things that haven't, and going back to when I first started with Coach B, the first thing he did was pull me back. I didn't know, like, actively that's what was happening, but oh my gosh, the level of frustration that was there toward getting close to the marathon, I was like, I cannot do this anymore."
Yeah.
But it really would have taken time to appreciate that he pulled me way back. Like, it's just the little things that it's being very aware of respecting the fact that we are training for marathons, and that's what I mean, like, it's, like, the distance even if you don't love marathons, I mean that as, like, if you wanna do half marathons.
We're overall healthy individual, right? Like, you wanna thrive until we're seeing these people thrive until their 70s running
Yes.
a 5K. Like, I wanna be
Yes.
that. Like, at the very minimum, like, I want to be that, like, that I wanna be healthy at 70 and not with a walker, you know? And it's
Yes,
like, all
exactly.
these things are just there's so much even more beyond just the running goal. Like, at the end of the day, the running goals will probably eventually end, or maybe they'll slow down, or maybe they'll be look a totally different way. But at the end of the day, like, longevity wise, like, these are not like eating enough to live is important, you know, and to nourish your body is important and being able to move your body is important. Like, none of us want to be in a wheelchair bound, you know,
Yeah,
like
exactly. I don't know if I told this on the podcast, but it was Shanna's birthday a few weeks ago, and our friend was like, "Running with her tomorrow, what should I grab her? What's her favorite things?" And Shannon and I were just talking about how much she's been craving meat lately. Like, she just has been going to the store and buying, like, steaks, like, lots of steaks, and so I just said, I was like, "She loves me," and
Oh my gosh.
like, I was meaning, like, candy, and I was like, "She would love, like, a steak."
It's like a steak gummy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you know how you can buy, like, the gummies at the store that are just, like,
Yes.
the meal? And she was like, "Well, what's her favorite candy?" And I was like, "Well, let me think." And all I could think of was like, she loves carrots right now, and she loves steak. She was like, "Wow, I will get her carrots and steak, okay, and a balloon." It was just so funny, and I was like, "Okay, I got it. Nerd clusters." She loves Starbucks hot chocolate. She loves her matcha. Anyway.
Listen, you guys did great. Everything in that bag I ate. So, I
I was
mean,
hoping that there would be, like, a little cooler delivery.
that would be hilarious. That would have
My god.
been my dinner for the night.
Yeah, it
Oh,
yeah,
man.
and I
I
was
know
I
that
was
was me last night. I was like we had some sweet potatoes that were, like, on the verge of, like, "Okay, I need to use these in the next, like, 2 days
mhm.
or otherwise I'm gonna toss them." So I'm like it's, like, 10:30 at night, and I'm dicing up sweet potatoes and small things and carrots. I'm cutting up carrots and putting them and
Oh my
Erica's like,
god.
Are you making yourself a dinner right now?" I was like, "No, this is for meal prep for tomorrow or the next day to make my life simpler." And he was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "I thought you were literally gonna go roast
It
those right
sounded like
now."
he was died. You're making eyeballs right now. She's gonna
I
have great
know.
eyesight because you ate so many carrots during her pregnancy.
Something like that.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I love it.
Oh, man.
Well, oh, should we announce our pregnancy?
I was like, "Are you pregnant?" Just kidding. Oh, I wish. I wish you were. Oh my gosh. I already,
Okay,
like
but
I already searched in our text message when I made that reel to go back
yes.
on,
Yeah.
and I typed in pregnancy, and the amount of times I say that word to you, I'm like, I am so annoying. Like, I think that's all I talk about now. Poor
Oh
Olivia
my
is probably
god.
like, shut up.
Not at all. I'm like, "Hey, when the baby's here, I'm gonna make her a onesie." "Hey, when the baby's here."
I expect a full bedazzled onesie with her name on it. Okay.
Bedazzled onesie. Gonna have little sneakers, even though I'm the person who's like, "Oh, I hate baby shoes."
I know, I know, but they're so cute on other people's kids.
They are so cute. She's gonna be at the marathon, and she's gonna be bedazzled.
A big old bow bigger than her head.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's all I do is I just
She's
plan
gonna
what
look
she's
better than
gonna
I do.
wear.
They're gonna be like, "How did that come from you? What's going on here?"
Oh my gosh. It's so So yeah, we're not announcing another sorry, every
No,
time though I say the word announce, pregnancy comes after it usually, so
I
I
know.
was like, that's why not a pregnancy
Yeah, what
announcement.
are you up to, Olivia?
Should
What do you
we
got going on the horizon?
on the horizon in December, that desert sky horizon because
Are you
we
running St. George?
Yes! What are we doing? We are gonna run. I'm gonna run,
Yeah.
and you're cordially invited as well.
I'm tagging along because for whatever reason, I don't have any other plans if it doesn't include you. I don't even think my husband knows I signed up for it yet. I
Oh
don't
my
even know.
gosh, that is
It
so
came out of the
funny.
bank account, but he hasn't said anything.
Listen, I literally was like, "It's 360 days away or 40 days away. It's basically $1.07 a day."
It worked for my justification. I was like,
Me
sold.
too. I do
Signing
that
up.
with shirts all the time. I'm like, if I wear it at least 24 times, $1 a day, so I'll buy it. The marathon project in
Woo!
Arizona. We're going back to Arizona.
We didn't have
Oh,
enough of that place.
I know. Yeah, so we had decided to do the Arizona project. I can't say anything right. The Marathon Project. Um,
What made you
yeah,
sign up for that? I know you gotta go, but what made you sign up for the marathon project? Like, what
so
sparked your interest on it?
so it's a loop course, which I was super interested in doing because I had looked into the McCurdy Marathon, and timing wise, that one just won't work out. And then also just flying across the country, I was, I think it's in March. I was like, there's just no way.
Yeah.
And timing wise, this one works out. So I had thought about doing Richmond or CIM. And and then this one, we were following the race pretty closely for the professional race, and then we saw that there was an amateur race the day before, and they call it like the Gold Wave race. And they say that there's like a if you run I think it's if you run a 3:30 or faster. So we did have to submit times, and so I don't know, I haven't gotten an email that's like that it
We've been
checks out.
accepted. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Me
the
either.
money was taken out. So I was like, if you're taking out the money, I'm assuming
Yeah.
it's a go. So yeah, so but they also provide bottles, and they try to make it as much of an elite experience as like, as possible even for amateurs. And the race was on the radar for me because in Kira's book, she goes into detail about it. Because in 2020, they created this race because there were no professional races going on, and so it was, like, on my radar a little bit. And then our coach's wife was doing it, so that's why we were following it pretty closely. And then the more that we were like, "This is really cool. This is super cool. We could do this," because it's the same timing as, like, when we did Phoenix,
Yeah.
and then it's, spectators can see you up to 12 times. So we were like, our
That's
kids
so
could see us
crazy.
running a lot, which is super cool.
I'm
Like,
like
our
still wrapping
husband
my mind around that. Like,
I know. Your 6 kids, and then your 7th child as well. She's gonna be
crazy.
there, little Beau. That's what I'm talking about,
No.
bedazzled outfit, which is nuts. And I literally, like, every time I picture it, I'm seeing all 9 of our kids being able
Yeah.
to see us race, which is crazy. So, because we just obviously, when we plan out races, it's like, "Oh, is your kid gonna be at the kids are gonna be at the finish line or not?" And I haven't really had that. So,
Mhm.
it just honestly, the more that we were just like, "This is really cool. Should we see if we should do it? Are they gonna do it again next year?" And then I DM'd them, and they were like, "Yeah, registration opens January 1st."
So
And
crazy.
it was a
And we're
go.
here.
And now yeah, and now
We're
we're doing
here.
another race together.
I'm so excited. And for us too, like we have pretty brutal summer. I mean, I know everybody does. They have
Yeah.
humidity and things like that. We hit those triple digits until like sometimes end of October, early November. And so the prime time of like training to hit your peak weeks is like November here. Like
Mhm.
you're going to get the cooler weather. It's going to feel a lot more, it's going to look a lot more translatable at that point. You're going to actually know where you're kind of sitting. So it's like my favorite time of the year to train. Like I love
Yeah.
winter marathons because we don't get snow here like half the other side of the world does.
Yeah. It's so
Like
true.
thank goodness.
Yeah.
But yeah, our brutal summers make fall
Yeah, they
training.
make up for it because
Yeah.
it's, like, either be by water or be inside, so, yeah.
Turn into a
Um
moon or
Yep. So, it works out, like, so well. And then postpartum-wise for you, because we were
yeah.
discussing, like, what not that we have to sign up for a race together, it just makes it so
It's
much
so
more
nice.
it
Yeah,
just
like, it's nice to be on the same block and build and even though some of our workouts do differ, like, our coach never coaches us the same, which I really love that about him. He very much looks at us as individuals, and I love that. But it's
Mhm,
nice to have even, like, slightly similar, like, "Okay, you're doing a long run today too. Mine looks a little bit different here, but we can run these miles together." Or
mhm.
even empathize and be like,
Yeah.
"This is really hard right now, but you're also in it too," you know?
Yeah, and, honestly, after I mean, we've done a good amount of races, but together now, and it's like we know we're not going to run them together. Ideally, we would run this one together because hopefully
That'd be
your
awesome.
yeah, like, I'm hoping your postpartum phase gives me a chance to catch up a little bit, and
You're gonna catch
that
up regardless. You don't need my
that
postpartum phase.
so, I mean, we'll have to see obviously at the time, but there's definitely something about being able to just, like, line up, be in the same
Yeah,
area together, and then also knowing that
same
we're gonna
group.
the finish line and kinda get that quick debrief and, like 'cause, finish lines can be super emotional, so if you're having like,
Yeah.
whatever the version you're having, like, your grandma's was a super high and mine was, like, a super low, or
Yes.
not super low, I was very confused then of grandma's,
Yeah.
and being able to, like, quickly debrief and be like, "Everything is okay," you know? We just ran
Yeah.
a marathon, and, like, sharing that with someone, it makes it feel like so much more of a team sport because the
Mhm.
marathon can feel very isolating, so, yeah.
Totally.
So, super excited.
We're excited. Hey, if anybody wants to sign up, go sign
Mhm.
up. I think it's still open, right?
Yeah, it looks like it. I
Yeah.
clicked on the thing and it said apply now still, so I think
There
I
you
don't
go.
know, I thought that they said, like, 1,000 spots, but then I saw also only
Oh,
400
wow.
spots, so I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
bigger than it was last year, huh?
Yeah, I think
'Cause
so.
I think they had, what, 300 people? I don't know,
Yeah.
I didn't look up.
I will say their advertising isn't, like, all over the place, so it's not
Yeah.
like you're seeing it a ton, so if someone doesn't know about it, like, look it up. It's definitely not an experience like Chicago or something where it's gonna be
Yeah.
crowds and loud. I think it's a quiet or more quiet race, and, like, that's something that I'm excited about too, like, loop course and more quiet because mentally, I have
Mhm.
always relied on crowds so much. And
Yeah.
to just become mentally tougher, like, when we do get into those long runs and, like, finding a loop that we can run, truly practice that, get the bottles down, do all of that, like, I think it's going to be just so good to, I don't know, just mentally check in, you
Yeah,
know?
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
But yeah,
excited.
well, I think this was good.
Yep.
I hope.
Hopefully you guys gained some benefit out of this. I feel like we were kind of, like, all over the place, but the concept was all there. Like, I feel like it was
Yeah.
only the things that need to be said. So, yeah, I mean, 2026, you guys, is a long time. If you feel like you've already fell off your goal, like, you have so many weeks and days and months. Like, no goal is gonna be perfect throughout the whole year. So,
Mhm.
get back on the horse as many times as you need to. I've done it so many times, especially with strength training, where I've fallen off because it's kind of last priority and you have to get back on and you just keep going. So, anyway.
Yep. Sorry. My husband's trying to call, and I was like, "It's gonna ring through on my computer in a
Oh,
second."
no.
All right, you guys. Well, we appreciate you so much. If you haven't left us a review or you don't follow us yet, like please do so. And yeah, we don't have to say we're a new platform anymore because we started all the way last year. So
We did. This is our second time building.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we're seasoned.
Yeah, exactly. Well, have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.